You got 5 grand, maybe a little more, sitting in savings, and every bill is paid. But after transferring money between accounts again last night, you caught yourself wondering why life feels like a never-ending cycle of just paying bills and setting money aside instead of moving toward the things that actually matter, like more time off from your job, being with your family, or taking a real vacation. You know, the kind where you choose the hotel for its beachfront view and its amenities, not because it fits your search criteria of affordable alternatives and best cheap hotels with a pool. And this is the exact reason why everything changes once you cross that 10 grand mark in your savings. And today, I'm breaking down the 5 reasons why this is a point where stability turns into actual financial freedom. When you've got a couple $1,000s, maybe 5,000 in savings, it's enough for a small emergency or unexpected expense. Maybe replacing the tires on your car, paying for a minor plumbing issue, or replacing a broken phone. But one major car repair, one medical deductible, or even one missed paycheck, and suddenly you're back to zero. Once you hit 10 grand, that cycle breaks. What that means is that when it's the middle of the hottest heat wave of summer and your AC goes on the fritz and the repair guy quotes you $2,300 to fix it, your only question is, how soon can you get started? Not, do you offer financing? Or maybe you take your car to the shop to figure out what that awful noise was, and the mechanic said it's an $1,800 repair job. So you opened up your phone to call in Uber to take you home instead of frantically double checking your credit card accounts to make sure you can actually cover the repairs. Even if you had to replace an appliance or deal with a surprise tax bill, you know you can handle it. And that's the real difference a little bit saved and having a real buffer actually makes. Once you have 10 grand saved, you're not one surprise cost away from a financial emergency. You're not choosing which crisis to handle first. You're solving problems as they come, and the whole time, you know you have the ability to rebuild that buffer without starting from scratch. And listen, if you're ready to cross that 10 grand mark and start turning stability into real wealth, I'd love to help you. I offer a free wealth activation breakthrough call where we'll uncover what's keeping you stuck and map out your next steps so the future you truly want isn't always waiting for someday to come around. You'll find the link down in the description below to book your call. Now, here's the second reason hitting 10 grand changes everything. It gives you real breathing room. Here's the thing. When your savings is under $10,000, you're constantly doing mental math. Okay? If this bill comes out and that paycheck clears and maybe I can cover all of this or whatever. It always feels like you're just shuffling money between accounts, waiting for things to line up just perfectly. But once you cross $10,000, the pressure shifts. You stop living in that tight juggling act and actually breathe. You're no longer facing the anxiety between paychecks when you realize you've got an auto pay scheduled, but your account is $127 short. With financial breathing room, that's just not your life anymore. Instead, you're watching your vacation fund grow every single month because with that buffer in place, you're able to set aside $300 extra instead of constantly plugging holes in a savings account that feels like a leaky bucket. And one of the biggest shifts, when you get that early bird registration email, whether it's for a conference that you've always wanted to attend, a class for your kids, or even a community event that you'd love to join, you don't immediately hit archive like you've done every single time before. You don't have to wait until the money shows up hoping to grab the savings. Instead, you just fill out the form and pay the registration fee. Breathing room is a difference between constantly reacting to money and finally being able to make a choice from calm and control. Once you have that breathing room, money stops feeling fragile. You're not terrified of every little dip in your income. That shift is exactly what opens the door for the third reason that hitting 10K changes everything. It gives you the confidence you need to invest and grow your money. When you're sitting on just a couple $1,000s, the idea of putting any of it into the stock market feels risky, because it is. If you only have $2,000 and the market dips 20%, suddenly you're staring at a $400 loss, and that feels catastrophic when it's a huge portion of your safety net. But when you've built your savings up past $10,000, the picture changes. Now you've got a real buffer in place that finally allows you to do something that once felt impossible. You can set up an automatic monthly transfer of, say, $500, maybe $1,000 into your investment account without triple checking your emergency fund first. Because with 10 grand saved, you're not second guessing every auto transfer, wondering if you'll need to cancel it to cover a surprise bill, or refreshing your savings account balance every month just to make sure the money's still there. You also get to decide whether or not you want to pick up extra income, maybe DoorDash, Uber, or whatever the latest side hustle is. But here's the difference. If you choose to do it, that extra money can go straight into your investment account instead of patching holes in your budget. And the best part, you're no longer investing out of desperation, hoping for a quick win. You're investing with confidence because you know your foundation is solid. Your savings account, it's not a stress magnet anymore. It's sitting there steady at 10 grand or more, doing its job while you finally get to focus on growing and building real wealth. And this leads straight into the fourth reason that hitting 10 grand changes everything. It gives you peace of mind. When your savings is barely enough to cover the smallest financial bump in the road, money is always sitting at the back of your mind. You're at work trying to focus, but you're also calculating if your account can cover Friday's bills. You're at your kids' soccer game, but part of you is distracted, wondering what you'd do if the car broke down on the way home. But once you've got 10 grand set aside, that background noise quiets down. You can't remember the last time you felt a knot in the pit of your stomach because your grocery bill was $100 more than you planned. When your company announced they were switching from weekly paydays to bi-weekly, you simply made a note of it in your calendar and moved on. Before you had that buffer, news like that would have sent you into a spiral of reorganizing your budget, recalculating which bills would hit first, and a bunch of sleepless nights scrolling through your accounts, hoping everything would work out. That peace of mind doesn't just change your bank balance. It changes how you show up in your life. You sleep better. You make decisions without panic. You can actually be present with your family because you're not running financial disaster scenarios in your head every 5 minutes. And that's when you realize financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about mental space. And if you're ready to experience that kind of peace of mind for yourself, I'd love to help you get there with a free wealth activation breakthrough call. We'll uncover what's holding you back and map out a path to align your money with the financial freedom you truly want. You'll find the link in the description below to book your call. And that brings us to the fifth reason saving 10 grand changes everything. Becomes the foundation for financial freedom. $10,000 isn't just a number in your savings account. It's the tipping point where stability turns into possibility. Because here's the truth. Once you've built that kind of buffer, you can finally look beyond just surviving today and start building toward the life that you actually want. Vacations aren't a someday thing that you hope you can do. Now you've got a vacation fund with a few $1,000s in it, and you're turning those dreams into actual plans. Instead of checking your emergency fund for the 10th time this week, you're browsing beachfront rentals for next summer. When your sister, a single mom, tells you just how worried she is about her son's college tuition, You pull out your phone and show her that 529 account you started for your nephew. And that's something you never thought you'd be able to do before. It was just never a possibility. Your conversations with your spouse or partner, they're not about scraping by until payday anymore. They're about which dreams or goals you're ready to bring into your life right now. Even your legacy goals, paying off your home early, starting a trust fund, or giving generously, start to feel within reach. And it all starts with that first 10 grand. Because when you have a strong foundation, every decision that comes afterwards is built on stability instead of scarcity. That's what transforms money from constant stress into a tool that supports the future you've been working towards all along. So here's the deal. Hitting 10 grand in savings is huge, but most people don't realize they're quietly sabotaging their progress by managing their emergency fund the wrong way. If you want to make sure you're not draining your safety net without even realizing it, you need to watch this video next. This is the difference between creating financial freedom and living in constant stress.